Hello, welcome to my channel this Easter. I'm out for a walk. I don't have anything planned. So now I'm just going to say what pops into my head. I guess I made enough videos about zombies for now. So let's talk about something other than zombies. Let's talk about nofap. Because yeah, I know it's a sensitive subject, but it seems to be permitted to some extent. I don't know, frankly, how you get censored for it. Some of my blog posts have been restricted. But anyway, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna pick up the torch after Gary Wilson. I'm gonna be a new leader type in nofap. I'm doing this because I feel it's my calling, because we don't have a very intellectually serious leader type after Gary Wilson died. So I feel that it's very meaningful for me to fill that role. So I'm only doing this out of the kindness of my heart. I'm gonna tell you, if you're a young man who don't know this, like I once was, I'm gonna be the type of role model that I wish I had. And hey, Gary Wilson was good. You can watch his stuff, but I'm not gonna try to be like him. I mean, the conclusion is the same, but there are important differences in my philosophy. It all leads to the same place. Don't fap, don't watch porn. But there are some philosophical differences. And that's what I'm gonna get at now. So the difference is, my approach is not based on neuroscience. And it's not based on the addiction model. And it's a much broader approach, actually. Because I'm saying masturbation is bad, and porn is bad because it facilitates masturbation. I mean, male masturbation is bad. And porn is bad because it facilitates it. Okay, it's not only bad because you can get addicted. I don't think that's a very fruitful way to conceptualize it. I mean, it may be true in some sense for some men, but if you're really addicted, then almost by definition, you can't be helped while that's ongoing. And it's also true that most addictions resolve spontaneously. That's not only true for pornography, it's true for drugs too. I mean, rehab is a hoax. If somebody recovers while in rehab, that's by coincidence, because it happened to resolve spontaneously anyway, go into spontaneous remission. Like I myself, for example, when I was 30 years old, that's when I had my last drink. And it wasn't because I was in any kind of treatment for alcoholism or anything like that. It's just because one day I didn't feel like drinking anymore, and I never did again. That is how recovery happens from the most real addictions that you can name. And you can debate if pornography can be a real addiction, and I don't really care. That's the tiresome debate that I'm not going to get that much into. I'm going to tell you why fapping is bad, why pornography is bad, for the deep reasons why it is bad that you should care about without considering yourself any kind of addict or anything like that. So I won't be doing like Gary Wilson telling you about neurotransmitters, like he was going on about something called Delta Fuzz B and some stuff that I honestly don't know myself in detail, and I don't think it's relevant because it doesn't. You can't replace the person with a map of the brain, right? That map is by definition always less important than the person. If you feel good about yourself and some brain scan tells you that you're sick according to some definitions that clinicians like to use, then you can just tell them to go to hell, because that can never trump your actual life. And now I'm caricaturing clinicians. They're not this stupid. They don't use diagnostic tools this way, but laymen sometimes confuse a brain scan and these types of scientific looking neuroscientific facts. They confuse that for the person. That's how you got this myth that the teenage brain is retarded and it doesn't develop until 25. That's bullshit even from the neurologic criteria. But according to normies, this fact is more important than anything a person can actually do. So they have this prejudice. But that's not how I roll. I don't preach prejudice. This is gonna be a prejudice-free lecture. No prejudice here. I'm going to tell the true story about why masturbation is wrong for divorce. Now let's start with the philosophical thought experiment known as the experience machine. It was a thought experiment that Robert Notion came up with in the 70s, I think, where you have this hypothetical machine that can give you any experience you want, and it's all fake. It's just stimulating your brain to have the feeling. So you're not interacting with real people, you're not accomplishing real things, but you can have the feeling that it does. That is what pornography does. It gives you the feeling, some of the feeling, that you're having sex with beautiful women. Well, you can conclude already there, just from the fact of knowing that it's like the experience machine, that you don't want to step into it. Okay, the experience machine takes over your whole life, so you can't, and it's irreversible. So that's the difference, yes. You can masturbate occasionally, that's true. And then it isn't all or nothing, but my argument is that life is short. You don't want to fit that in there at all. You want to have a real sex life. And also, if you don't get the idea, if you never learn or realize that pornography is just like the experience machine, that is completely devoid of sexual value, well, then you might as well be living in the experience machine, because you're never going to exit it. You're never going to have the inclination to do so. That's how it is with a lot of men. So it comes down to this opportunity cost. Opportunity cost. That's the concept. I want you to think of masturbation in terms of opportunity cost. You could have been spending that time and effort, libido, refractory period, maybe even money. All of that could have been spent better by pursuing real sex. And that is the core problem with male masturbation and with pornography from the point of view of the user. So notice that this is a sex positive, a totally very, very sex positive way to arrive at the conclusion that fapping is bad, that pornography is bad. And a lot of people are confused by this. They think when I preach nofap that I'm some kind of I'm somehow negative to sexuality, some parts of sexuality. But that's not the case. I'm doing this for the diametrically opposite reason, that I consider sexuality to be so important that you don't want to miss out on any part of it. You want to realize your sexual potential. That's what pornography gets in the way of. Plus, it can get worse. Yes, it's an evolutionary trap and all that, and you can speak of addiction in extreme cases. You can go down that road and talk about that until you're blue in the face like Gary Wilson did. But my message is so much bigger than that. If you know the opportunity cost argument and you take that to heart, then you don't need to know anything about addiction, because you shunned it like the plague. You shunned pornography and fapping like the plague from the beginning, because you don't want to waste your sex life. And by now it should be clear that my message is completely incompatible with feminism. I mean, the conclusion might not be, but the value system that underlies it, it's not the same at all. And in fact, it's mutually hateful, because oh boy, should I get into that? The persecution of pornography offenses. Let's say something about that. Okay, that's persecution. But they're doing it on a completely dishonest basis. They're persecuting men for abusing themselves and for doing the opposite of what they think they're doing, right? But because feminists have this flip side of the wanker's delusion that he's getting sexual value, then according to feminists, that translates into exploitation of women and children. I reject that. You cannot exploit anybody through pornography, because there's no sexual value that is flowing through it, because it is all empty, like the experience machine. Now, at most, you can sabotage somebody's life by spreading nude pictures of them. Maybe that can be done. You can sabotage a girl's reputation that way, sure. But that doesn't mean that this wanker is getting sexual value from it. So that way to conceptualize it is wrong. It is not a sex crime. It's not a crime of taking sexual stuff from women and girls and giving it to men. That's not what's going on in pornography offenses and these non-contact offenses, the sexting stuff and all that complete bullshit. That is not a case of men exploiting females. That's not what's going on. It's just the state persecuting something on a false basis. Now, I'm telling you that you should have no part in it anyway. You shouldn't be using pornography. You should never ask girls for news and so forth. But you should do it for completely different reasons, right? You shouldn't do these things because you want the real thing. And when you want the real thing, then you are nonetheless a bad, bad man in the eyes of feminism. And therefore, my view is not compatible with feminism at all. So, I hope I have explained what is wrong with pornography and masturbation. And I will make more talks about this because there's so many more angles and things to say about it. But that's a good introduction, I think.